You're listening to the Caramel Apples podcast, the apple snack that brings you a retro vibe, both crunchy and sweet, with your hosts, Kennedy Rizzo and Cooper Lee.
Hey there, Coop. How you doing today?
I'm doing very well, Kennard. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. I don't know. This sunshine out today, like we finally have spring slash summer coming to grace us with its presence. Oh, it just makes you want to jump in the car and go somewhere.
It is so much better when the sun's out. You do feel like, let's go look at flowers today or let's go do something that's very outdoorsy.
Yes, yes,
I know you
yes.
fall in the summer demographic for sure. So,
I do. That is my season. I'm enjoying every second of it.
yes. And that's how it's been for her since she was a young one because she loved going to the pool, anything, you're out of school. Summertime was much to be celebrated.
It was. I don't know. It's just a very very nostalgic time and I'm glad we're rolling into that season. It's wonderful.
Absolutely. And definitely for good reason. Because for the topic that we're talking about today, this was one of those times that you actually, if the weather was just right and you go to this place, it just very nostalgic.
Uh-huh.
And you want to tell them what we're going to talk about today?
Oh, gladly. So we are Gen Xers, and so we are in the thick of nostalgia when it comes to our malls. Malls reign supreme. Yes, we're talking about malls today. And actually, we have a sad note about our local mall that we kind of talked about in other episodes of our podcast. And it's about to bite the dust.
Yes. And we know that there's probably a lot of you probably feeling the same sting. If you're like us, you have your fond memories of going to your local mall wherever it was, and you
Yeah.
probably feel the same way. You might be looking at the end of the run,
Yeah.
and as Kennedy said, we're truly sad that this is happening for us.
It is for multiple reasons. I mean, even a little bit more than the nostalgia. Like,
Yeah.
it's for the convenience. Like, we live in a rural town.
Yes.
And it was never a thing to jump in the car and drive 15, 20 minutes away to our local mall,
Yes.
to go get, at the time there was those big anchor stores in there. There was Macy's, which was Lazarus at the time, and
Right.
Sears, which was like the old school Walmart. You get everything there.
Right. Yeah. They even had the tools.
They did. Washers and dryers, lawnmowers, you name it, tires.
Yeah, I think they even had mattresses there. Plus, there was Elder Beerman and J.C. Penney.
JC Penney's, yeah, yeah. So the thing is, I hadn't realized till Cooper told me she had gone down there. For one, there's this really bomb Chinese takeout there that they're closing too. They have to go the way of the dodo because of the mall closing.
Yeah.
And they were her and her hubby was there for that to pick up some food. But then she just like, I'm here. So we have a Bath and Body Works there, which is like one of the best stores ever. So she's like, I'm gonna go down there and see what's going on. I kind of want to know what's going to happen. If the mall's not live anymore. So she goes down there, and they gave her the bad news that they weren't going to renew their lease and that they'd be gone and where we live.
Yeah. Yeah.
And where's the next closest one? Like, it's what, maybe 35 minutes away and 45 minutes away.
Yeah. And not even, I mean, it's not a horrible drive, but it's still not just that convenient.
Mm-hmm.
So you would think Bath and Body Works would be able to just pitch a tent somewhere, stay local, but apparently they don't feel like it's worth it, so they're gonna leave too. Everything's going to online, so
Mm-hmm.
I guess we knew they were gonna be biting the dust at some point.
Mm-hmm.
It's just sad that our mall has finally seen, they know their finish line now. So
Yeah, and it always seemed so big and spacious when we were teenagers. We'd go down there
hmm
and, people were there. You'd see people from your school there. Like, I mean, it was a
yeah,
thing to do.
exactly.
And, our girl squad, boy, we hang out many a moment in our mall. We'd go to, a couple of our favorite stores. We didn't have any money,
Right.
so we'd have our little change. We go to the record store there, which I think was Camelot Music.
Yep, there was a Camelot and an NRM.
NRM, yes. Yes. And then, and Cooper loved this store. I did too, but Cooper loved this store. Was the Rainbow Shop.
Okay, yeah, I'm so glad you mentioned the Rainbow Shop because it was just like the place to be as a
hmm
young girl. Like you could go in there, you could get little novelty items, you could get little charms for your charm bracelets and necklaces. You could get little smell good erasers for your
Yep. They're
pencils.
racers.
Yes, they had. We mentioned in our other Apple snack about the big lip um, phones.
The phones. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
remember they also had a pen that I got that had they had a big lips on top. That was the cap of my pen, and they had lip prints all on the pen. They had Hello Kitty, and remember it was kind of set up like when Facts of Life had revamped in that series. It looked like what the Rainbow Shop was. Like it
it
had all those little bins and cubicles and stuff.
it did. I do remember that.
Yes, I'm so glad you mentioned the Rainbow Shop.
Oh man, see, it kind of tugs at your heartstrings when you think about, good times, going they're behind us now. And then when they
Yeah.
close, that's kind of the nail in the coffin on what we're talking about.
Yes. Hey, do you remember in our local mall we didn't truly have like a food court. Like there's a lot of bigger malls that have, several levels. We didn't even have a second level.
No.
Except for like in some stores, like I think Lazarus had a second level. We worked on it. Um
We did. We had jobs there, people.
we did. We were on the second floor. Woo! And there was also the bookstores. I think one of
hmm
those at least had an upstairs.
I think it was the Dalton, JB Dalton.
Yes, yes, I think they had it.
Okay. Okay.
So like we didn't have a food court that was like on a second level or anything, but we had food restaurants and stuff sprinkled throughout our first floor of our
Yeah,
mall. And do you remember there was a fountain in the middle of the mall?
I do.
Yes,
Yeah, they would be throwing their little pennies and dimes in
they
there.
sure did. And there had to be people coming by and fishing those out. It may have been the workers later on. They probably went in there and they're like, "Ooh, this will buy me something this later on this week if I collect enough."
Right?
They're like, "Yeah, we got to keep it clean," whatever their excuse was. But I remember there was a coffee shop. This is way before Starbucks even made it anywhere near where we live. Like Kennedy said, we live in a very rural area, so Starbucks it wasn't even a thing. We didn't even know about it.
No.
I'm trying to think. Is there another one that's big on iced coffees and stuff?
Oh, locally here?
Yeah, like around when Starbucks became a thing.
Oh, gotcha. Uh, Man, this should not even be a tough question. I mean, like that's the thing now, coffee, everything.
Right,
Before Panera, they weren't around.
right. You
Um,
know, I
I don't
think
know.
I think because there is so many people getting in on the chain,
Mm-hmm.
but so prior to all of those, we do finally have a Starbucks. But
We have arrived, folks.
we have arrived. But back before that, we had a place called Gloria Jeans
Yes.
that was at our mall that had some really, really good. I can't remember if it was straight up iced coffee, but I think they did serve something. And it might have even been like raspberry flavored. You can get like certain flavors, and they would just like put it in to the coffee that you asked for. It was like in pumps, big pumps.
Yeah, yeah, actual, and they'd use actual coffee. They had coffee beans, coffee grounds,
Yes.
and they would put that in your iced coffee.
Yes.
But they sold. They actually did because it was like in bulk. They actually sold coffee.
They did, and it was good.
Yeah, it was. You could smell it. It just would bounce all through the air.
Yes. Oh my goodness. That was like you would like to just walk past it. You may not have been in the mood for coffee, but you would like to walk past it and get a nice big whiff because it smelled so good.
And one more thing about something I do miss, because I mean, I'm yeah, everybody knows I'm a food person. Coop knows it.
Yeah.
We did have a steakhouse. It was an old school steakhouse that was down by the J.C. Penney way.
Yes, we did.
And talking about the coffee smell in the air, like, oh, food in the air is the best smell. But anyway, this steakhouse was at that end, and you walk in, and it filled up the whole end of the mall. It
Mm.
was a York Steakhouse,
Yes.
and it was good food, good steak. Like they gave you food, It wasn't this
Hmm.
little deli meat thing. Like, is this supposed to be a steak or that piece of bologna? It wasn't nothing like that. Big old dinner rolls. You get a salad and all. They give you dessert. It was just a good thing.
Yes. And we're talking about like full course meals like that, and the price was maybe what, $6, $7, and you
Oh
would
yeah.
get, like you said, all of that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Uh-huh. I do remember that place. It did smell good, and the food was good.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like, so here we are. We just for a few minutes today. Talking about something that's going to be, and this is no exaggeration, sorely missed.
Yeah.
And honestly, Coop, I mean, our mall's pretty much gone. It's gone. Next month, like 2 weeks, it's gonna be closed.
Yeah.
Um, we actually do have to drive like another 30, 40 minutes to the closest one. But a lot of malls are being affected, so who knows how long these other ones will last.
That's the reality of it. Everything is about modern convenience, and you have your computer right there. You don't have to leave your couch. You can lounge in your pajamas and order whatever you need. So for brick and mortar to last much longer will be a surprise.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think like rent is astronomical in these places too. So I mean, you can kind of understand. I had a brief talk with my jeweler, where I got my wedding ring,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah,
he was telling me that rent is absolutely crazy, and he's actually in a different city and everything. And it's not surprising that the rent's so much higher where they are because it is a bigger city.
yeah.
But he's talking about getting a standalone because of that, and he's like, and also that the mall is a dying breed. So
Mm.
yeah, even in bigger cities, it's probably gonna be ending probably a lot sooner than what people would like, because then they have to figure out what they're gonna do next.
Yeah, and he's telling that experience from a business standpoint. We're talking from a customer standpoint,
Right.
going, "What's going on?" We have question marks over our heads because like something's up here. What's up? But he's on the business side of it, and he's like, "Yeah,
Hmm.
something is up."
Yeah. Yeah.
So okay, so we got like a minute or two left. So think of two movies, Coop, that you can remember. They showed mall scenes that you enjoyed.
I would have to say, Can't Buy Me Love.
Yep. Oh, that was one of mine. Good job.
Yes, that movie hands down is awesome. Anyway,
Yeah, we'll have to review that one pretty soon, huh?
I know, right?
Yes, totally.
And we have it on VHS, so that shows you how long we have been loyal to that movie. But I would have to say, even though this movie wasn't great in itself, the new Wonder Woman
Oh,
84, yeah, I don't want to go too long on how wasn't a huge fan about it, but I will say I thought that they nailed the look. The mall felt very mall back in '80s. So I'll say that.
okay. And that's about the gist of the movie. They said, okay, this is the '80s because we're in a mall.
Right? And it's like the first what, 2 3 minutes, so don't watch beyond that.
Okay, so since we share Can't Buy Me Love, that yours pick was Wonder Woman 84.
Mm-hmm.
And my second pick's going to be Girls Just Want to Have Fun. Um, when they wanted to destroy that girl's party, her Sweet 16 party or whatever.
Oh, yes.
They end up going into the mall to print out their invitations to totally obliterate her.
Absolutely. Totally remember that
Yeah,
too.
that's a good movie too. We'll have to do that review on that one as well.
Yes. Count me in.
Okay, well, that's probably it for our Apple snack today. But there's more where that came from. So join us again next time. We'll be talking about more retro stuff, more nostalgia. You know, it's something to connect us Gen Xers. And, you hate to see things change, but, it is what it is. That's life. And
And
um,
we always have the memory, so that's what's cool.
that's right. So come, thanks for joining us here on the Caramel Apples podcast where we can all get together and talk about these warm memories.
And that's it for this week's Apple Snack. But as you know, there's always more where that came from. So stay tuned. Subscribe, review, and spread the word. See you next time in the Retro Orchard, and thanks so much for listening.